And wondered if one simple penny could change your life forever? Today, we are talking about the 1989 Lincoln penny and the shocking truth behind its value, history, and the rumors of coins worth up to $1.8 million. Before you skip this video, you might want to look at your coins very carefully because some of these pennies are still out there. Let's start with the history. The 1989 Lincoln penny is part of the famous Lincoln cent series, first introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln. This design features Lincoln's portrait on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. A design used from 1959 to 2008. Rarest or most 1989 pennies were made from zinc with a thin copper coating, and billions of them were produced, meaning most are only worth 1 cent. Rarest or, but here is where things get interesting. Not all 1989 pennies are the same. Some rare versions and minting errors have turned ordinary coins into valuable collector items. In general, a normal 1989 penny might be worth just a few cents or a couple of dollars if it is in excellent condition. However, rare high-grade coins or error coins can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. There is a special version known as the 1989 D copper penny. This coin was mistakenly struck using the wrong metal planchet left over from earlier years, and only a few are believed to exist. One of these rare coins sold for over $3,000 at auction. Rarest.org. Some top condition coins have reached values in the thousands depending on grading and rarity. Now, let's talk about the big claim. Is there really a 1989 penny worth $1.8 million? The truth is, no confirmed 1989 Lincoln penny has ever reached that value. That massive price actually comes from a completely different coin. Rare 1943 copper Lincoln wheat penny, which sold for around $1.8 million due to an extreme minting error and historical rarity. So, while the 1989 penny is interesting and can be valuable, it is not in the same league as those ultra-rare coins. But do not be disappointed yet, because valuable coins are not always about the year alone. They are about details. Here is what you should look for in your 1989 penny. Check the mint mark if it has a D for Denver or no mint mark for Philadelphia. Look for unusual weight, especially heavier coins, which could indicate rare metal errors. Examine the surface for doubling errors, strange lettering, or misprints. And most importantly, check the condition, because coins graded at very high levels are much more valuable. Even a common coin can become valuable if it is perfectly preserved. Many collectors are still searching through everyday change, hoping to find that one rare piece, and believe it or not, rare coins do still show up in circulation from time to time. So, next time you get a penny, do not ignore it. Take a closer look, because you might be holding more than just 1 cent. You could be holding history and maybe, just maybe, a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and check your coins before you spend them, because you never know what you might find. This tiny 1 cent coin could change your life forever. Imagine finding a simple 1972 penny in your pocket and discovering it could be worth thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Sounds unbelievable, right? But today, we are diving deep into the truth about the 1972 Lincoln penny, its history, rare errors, and whether it can really be worth up to $1.7 million. Let's start with the basics. The 1972 Lincoln penny is part of the famous Lincoln Memorial series, first introduced in 1959. On the front, you see Abraham Lincoln, one of the most iconic presidents in American history. On the back, there is the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. These coins were made mostly of copper, about 95% copper and 5% zinc, and they weigh just over 3 grams. U.S. Coins Guide. Now, here is something surprising. More than 5.5 billion of these coins were produced in 1972. That means this is actually one of the most common pennies ever made. U.S. Coins Guide. So, if it is so common, how can it be valuable? The answer is simple. Errors. Most 1972 pennies are only worth 1 cent, maybe 2 cents, because of copper value. Even in excellent condition, many are worth less than $1. CoinValueLookup.com. But there is one version that collectors are crazy about. The 1972 double die obverse penny. This is where things get exciting. During the minting process, a mistake happened. The coin die was struck more than once at slightly different angles. This caused the letters and numbers on the coin to appear doubled. If you look closely at a rare 1972 double die penny, you will see strong doubling in 3 main areas: the words "In God We Trust," the word "Liberty," and the date 1972. This doubling is not small. It is bold, clear, and visible even without magnification in many cases. Pennyverse only around 20,000 of these error coins were made, which makes them extremely collectible. U.S. Coins Guide now, let's talk about value. A normal 1972 penny is basically pocket change, but a genuine double die coin can sell for hundreds of dollars, sometimes over $1,000 depending on condition. The viral post and in top condition, professionally graded coins have reached even higher prices. But what about the claim that a 1972 penny is worth $1.7 million? Here is the truth. There is no widely confirmed public sale of a standard 1972 penny reaching $1.7 million. However, there are extremely rare, almost perfect condition coins with unique characteristics that have been rumored or estimated at very high values, even close to $1 million. Pennyverse, these are not normal coins. They are ultra-rare examples with nearly flawless surfaces, perfect color, and extreme doubling, often graded at the highest possible levels by professional grading companies. In simple words, finding one is like winning the lottery. So how can you check if your coin is valuable? Here is a quick guide. First, check the mint mark. The valuable double die usually has no mint mark, meaning it was made in Philadelphia. Second, look closely at the letters. If they look shadowed or doubled, that is a good sign. Third, never clean your coin. Cleaning can destroy its value instantly. And finally, if you think you have something special, get it checked by a professional grading service, because one small detail could turn 1 cent into a fortune. Now here is the reality most people do not talk about. Millions of people search for rare coins, but only a tiny number actually find one. Most 1972 pennies you see will not make you rich, but the possibility is real, and that is what makes coin collecting so exciting. You never know what treasure might be hiding in your pocket, your drawer, or even an old jar of coins. Next time you see a 1972 penny, do not ignore it. Take a closer look, because that simple coin might just be worth far more than you ever imagined. If you want, I can also make a more viral version with hook lines, suspense, and clickbait storytelling to boost YouTube retention, storytelling style, and based on real facts, but also including the viral 1.5 million claim explained clearly. Imagine finding a simple 1 cent coin in your pocket that could change your life forever. Today, we are talking about the 1984 Lincoln penny, a coin that most people ignore, but collectors are hunting every single day. This tiny coin has created massive excitement because of rare errors and surprising values. But here is the truth. Not every 1984 penny is valuable. In fact, most of them are worth just 1 cent because more than 13 billion coins were made that year. Accounting insight. So, why are people talking about thousands and even millions of dollars? Let's break it down. The 1984 Lincoln penny is part of the Lincoln Memorial Series, first introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln. By 1984, the coin had already been in circulation for decades, and the design showed Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. One important change happened just a couple years before the coin was no longer made mostly of copper. Instead, it became a zinc core with a thin copper coating to reduce cost. Accounting insights. This change is very important because it affects both durability and value. Now here is where things get interesting. Most 1984 pennies you find today are only worth face value, or maybe a few cents if they are shiny and uncirculated. U.S. Coins Guide, but some rare versions are worth serious money. The most famous one is called the double die error. Collectors often call it the double ear penny. If you look closely at Abraham Lincoln's ear, you will see what looks like a second earlobe. This happened because of a mistake during the minting process when the design was stamped twice, slightly off position, and this small mistake created a huge opportunity. Some of these doubled ear pennies have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on condition. In top condition, they can reach several $1,000s at auction. Coins value. Even regular coins in perfect condition can be surprisingly valuable. A flawless red example graded at the highest level has sold for over $9,000. CoinValueChecker.com. Now, let's talk about the viral claim. You may have seen videos saying a 1984 penny is worth $1.5 million. Here is the reality. There is no widely verified sale of a 1984 penny reaching that exact amount. Some websites and viral stories exaggerate values to attract attention. However, extremely rare error coins in general can reach huge prices, and there are claims that Unique versions of the 1984 double-ear penny could be worth extraordinary amounts if a one-of-a-kind specimen is ever discovered WSNC, but for now most confirmed values are in the range of a few dollars to a few thousand. Still, that is an incredible return for a 1-cent coin. So, how do you know if you have a valuable one? First, check the year. Make sure it says 1984. Second, look at the mint mark. Under the date, no mint mark means it was made in Philadelphia. D means Denver's means San Francisco, and those are usually proof coins. Next, examine Lincoln's ear very carefully. If you see a clear doubling that looks like an extra earlobe, you might have the famous error. Also, check the condition. Coins that are bright red, shiny, and free from scratches are worth much more. Collectors call these red coins, and they can be worth several times more than dull brown ones. Coins value. Another tip is to use a magnifying glass or even your phone camera. Small details can make a massive difference. Some collectors spend years searching through coins just to find one rare piece, and sometimes those discoveries come from everyday pocket change. That is what makes coin collecting so exciting. You never know what treasure you might already have. So, next time you see a 1984 penny, do not ignore it. Take a closer look, because while most are just 1 cent, a rare one could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, and who knows, maybe one day someone will discover that $1 million version. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn about more rare coins hiding in plain sight, make sure to like, subscribe, and keep checking your change, because treasure might already be in your pocket. This tiny 1-cent coin could be hiding a life-changing secret, and most people don't even realize it. Today, we are talking about the famous 1982 Lincoln penny, a coin that has confused collectors for decades, and in some rare cases has sold for thousands of dollars, and even sparked rumors of values reaching over $1 million. So before you ignore that old penny sitting in your drawer, watch this video carefully, because you might be holding something special. Let's start with the history. The 1982 Lincoln penny is one of the most important coins ever made in the United States because it was a transition year. For decades, pennies were made mostly from copper, but in the early 1980s, copper became too expensive and the government needed a cheaper solution. U.S. Coins Guide. So in 1982, the U.S. Mint made a huge change, switching from solid copper coins to zinc coins coated with a thin layer of copper arch out. This created something very unusual. Instead of just one type of penny that year, there were actually multiple different versions produced. In fact, there are at least 7 different varieties of the 1982 penny, including copper and zinc versions, large date and small date designs, and different mint marks. U.S. Coins Guide. And this is where things get interesting, because most of these coins are completely normal and worth only 1 cent, but a few rare versions are worth serious money. Now, let's talk about value. If you have a regular 1982 penny, it is probably worth between 1 cent and a few cents if it is circulated. Even uncirculated coins usually sell for just a few dollars, depending on condition. Old coin online copper versions can be slightly more valuable simply because of the metal content, while zinc coins usually stay at face value. Old coin online, but the real treasure comes from rare varieties and errors. One of the most famous is the 1982 D small date copper penny. This coin is extremely rare because it was not supposed to exist. In 1982, the Denver Mint switched to zinc for small date pennies, but somehow a few copper versions were accidentally made. Only a handful have ever been found. One example sold for over $18,000, and another sold for more than $10,000 at auction. U.S. Coins Guide. That's a huge jump from just 1 cent. There are also error coins like double die pennies that can sell for hundreds or even thousands, depending on the mistake and condition. U.S. Coins Guide. Now, let's address the big question: is there really a 1982 penny worth $1.3 million? The honest answer is no. Confirmed 1982 penny is sold for that amount. Those million-dollar headlines are usually exaggerated or confused with other famous coins like rare 1943 copper pennies, which have sold for hundreds of thousands or even over $1 million in extreme cases. The Sun. However, that does not mean your 1982 penny is worthless. It just means you need to know what to look for. Here is how to check your coin. First, check the weight. A copper penny weighs about 3.11 grams, while a zinc penny weighs only 2.5 grams. U.S. Coins Guide. Second, look at the date style. Small date coins have thinner numbers and a different shape compared to large date coins. Third, check for a mint mark like the letter D for Denver. And finally, examine the coin closely for errors or unusual details. If your coin matches the rare combination, like a 1982 D small date made of copper, You could be holding something extremely valuable otherwise. It is still a fascinating piece of history from a year when everything changed. So, next time you see a 1982 penny, don't just spend it, take a closer look. Because even though most are worth only a cent, a rare one could be worth thousands. And who knows, maybe someday another hidden treasure will be discovered. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more rare coin discoveries and hidden treasures, because sometimes the smallest coins hold the biggest surprises. If you want, I can also make a viral title, thumbnail text, and tags for this video.